Music changed my life and brought me to where I am today, and I want to make sure that it can do the same for hundreds and thousands of children.
Anna Klimala, she's the CEO and president of Miami Music Project.
Music completely transforms people, because when you play an instrument, and listening transforms you as well, because listening to music touches your heart, touches your emotions. We are here to bring social change to the communities that we serve and the students we serve. We are not here to make them into musicians.
Right.
The instrument is the tool to bring this social change.
And the music is excuse.
For them to have fun, and they don't often even know all the things that are happening that are transforming them.
Welcome to another episode of Atar 360. I am Ariel Acosta Rubio, your host, and with me I have Anna Klimala. She's the CEO and president of Miami Music Project. And today we're going to talk about music. But we're going to ask Anna, why you do what you do?
Hi, Ariel. Thank you so much for having me. So yes, I am a CEO of the My Music Project, but I am also a classical musician by training and a music educator. And I do what I do because music changed my life and brought me to where I am today. And I want to make sure that it can do the same for hundreds and thousands of children in Miami, in Miami-Dade County, and beyond.
You are from Poland originally, okay? That's where you learn how to play your instrument. And then you moved to Miami. What was the reason for you to move to Miami?
Yes, I grew up in Poland, in south part of Poland, in a very, very rural, mountainous region. If you think of North Carolina, more or less that's what it looks like where I'm from. Beautiful place, but very, very little. My town has about 5,000 people. And when I was little, my grandfather, who was a carpenter, one day made a piece of furniture for someone who needed it. And he went to deliver it, and the guy did not have money to pay him. But he said, I have a piano. Do you want this piano instead? So they traded, basically. And my grandpa brought piano home, and he really wanted me and my sister to play. So we started playing music. I started learning. And long story short, at some point, I auditioned for a music school. I actually left home when I was 15. I already left home because, remember, I was from a very small town, and there was no music school in my town. I was just taking private lessons with my aunt, actually. And I wanted to pursue music. So for high school, actually even before, in 8th grade, I already moved out of the house and I went living in a big city. I lived in a dorm. And I started learning music that way. Long story short, I went on to study. I did my master's in music education. I double majored in double bass performance. And later on, I had a chance to start playing with an international youth orchestra, which was actually based out of Germany. But the conductor who was conducting that orchestra was from America. His name was Larry Livingstone, and he was back then the Dean of School of Music at the University of Southern California in Los Angeles. So he would get to know all the kids that were in the orchestra. And, you know, sometimes I heard that he invites some students to come over and study in California. And that's basically what happened. I first was invited to take part in a summer camp in Idlewild, California. So I went, and at that camp, I met an incredible bass player who was the principal of the bass section of the Los Angeles Philharmonic, Professor Dennis Tremblay, and he asked me if I want to study with him. So I actually stayed for a couple of more weeks. I took my exams, and then I went back to Poland because, you know, it was a whole process, and I was still studying. I needed to finish my last year of my master's. And throughout that year, I heard that I got in, and then I heard that I got a scholarship. So that's basically what happened. I came to United States to study at USC, to study the double bass performance. And then a few years later, I transitioned to live in Miami and kind of make my home here in Miami. And a few years after that, I started getting involved with Miami Music Project. One thing I want to tell you, because it really is a beautiful kind of full circle story. Much later on, when my grandpa was in his 80s, I asked him why did you bring this piano home? Why did you think that we should play music? What was it? And my grandpa was a very simple but incredibly wise man. He was not only a carpenter, he was also a chief of fire department in our town. He was a council member. So he had a lot of wide view of the world and everything, which really came out of not really education, but out of just curiosity and knowledge. So when I asked him that question, he said to me, music to me is a language that not a lot of people know. So I thought if you and your sister learn this language, it will take you farther and it will take you maybe out of this little place and into the world.
Which is true.
Which is what happened.
And the proof is what you have been accomplished through the years. And by the way, make you the perfect person to be the CEO and the president of Miami Music Project, which is not easy to find. A person with your profile and your knowledge and all the wisdom that you've been accumulated through the years. And that story about your dad, about the piano, reminds me, I'm going to tell you a little story about my son Tadeo. When he was in first grade, I went to school to pick him up, and he said, "Daddy, I want to be in the talent show that is going to be on the school today." And I asked him, "What are you going to do?" And he said, "Well, I'm going to tell jokes." So that was my first mistake as a father. I didn't like it. I didn't want him to tell jokes. But that was a mistake, because being in front of 2,000 or 3,000 people watching you telling jokes when you were 6 years old, that is amazing. So because I knew the mistake that I made, I went driving back home. I say, what can I do to teach Tadeo something that has to do with arts that will help him in the future? And I remember I used to play the piano and the organ, so I went back home. I took the piano that I have on the garage full of dust. I cleaned it up, put it right in front of the saloon of the house, right? You open the door of my house and you will see the piano right in front of it. My wife said, "Why do you put the piano right in the middle of the house?" Because I want everyone to see it and to touch it every single day. So I went to look for a box that my mother gave me years before, where I have all my music. I took the music, I put them on the piano, and I started playing. And I started playing like it was the first day. Not the first day, but like if I was playing for all my life. And then Tadeo sit right next to me and say, "Can you teach me a song?" And I taught him the song.
When the Saints Go Marching In, yes.
Yes, When the Saint Goes Marching In. So I started playing that song. So we played for a while. And then I said, "Well, I'm going to go to my room, keep on playing, and I see you later." When I was in my room, a few minutes later, I started listening to him playing that music. And I said, "Oh my God, this kid has a talent," because it took me weeks for me to learn how to play that. So I went down, I looked at him playing, and the next day, I enrolled him in a conservatory to start learning how to play the piano, and then he started playing the violin. So what you say about the story about your dad and the piano, it reflects exactly the mission that your dad was giving to you. And, well, that's an example, the same thing I did with Tadeo, and it works.
And you know what else I'll add to it? It was my grandpa, not my dad.
Oh, I'm sorry, your grandpa.
Yeah. But I'll add to it. Actually, when he was in his 80s, I started teaching him the music notation, because that was his lifelong goal, to one day also be able to read that language that he couldn't understand. So I actually taught him how to read, because he used
You did?
because he played
By ear?
accordion. Yeah, he played by ear. He played accordion. He had a whole collection of accordions. And then he also played that piano that he brought. He played himself as well, but he played by ear. He just sat down and figured it out.
So he has that talent.
He had that talent, yeah. He always wanted to be able to read because he
Exactly.
felt like if he can read the notation, he will be a musician. He
Yeah.
can call himself, And I started teaching him, and he really managed to learn it and to play from music in his 80s. So it's never too late.
In his 80s, you were, how old were you by that time? 10 years,
Ooh,
maybe?
Yeah,
12?
no. I was much older. He passed away last year at the age of 97. He had a beautiful, beautiful long life, but really, it all started with that one kind of spark that, the kids
So,
have to play the piano.
So here we go. So you think the music really transformed people?
Music completely transforms people,
Why?
but it transforms people in the most impactful, deep way. Because when you play an instrument, and listening transforms you as well, because listening to music touches your heart, touches your emotions. It can give you calm, right? It can give you peace, whatever it is. But playing an instrument, actually making the craft yourself, and spending hours and hours on knowing how to make it perfect, on knowing, how to make it in tune, learning all the things that happen. What happens in the brain when we play music, it's really like July 4 fireworks, but of the brain. The sparks, the connections that are being made are really impacting your brain development. So not only you are developing yourself as a person, your emotionality, but you're developing also your brain and your skills. It teaches you patience. There is no app on the phone you can download and learn how to play a violin. It doesn't exist, and it will not exist. You actually have to put the time, and by time I mean hours and days and months and years, right, to perfect it. If kids can focus for hours doing that, imagine how well they're going to be focused in workplace one day or in school, right? Because the act of playing an instrument, of practicing over and over, the repetition to make it better, to make it sound better, it really develops you in so many very deep ways. So there's that individual development, which is, about your patience, your grit, your perseverance, self-esteem, the way that you are able to focus on a task from beginning to the end, the frustrations that you have to deal with, right, and fight with. But then there's also the element of the community, because if you are in a music ensemble, that takes you to a whole another level of development, because now you are interacting with people. You have to play with them together. You have to musically interact with them. You also have to play your role. You have to listen. You have to be, in a way, very often compliant, right? Because let's say you are in orchestra and the conductor is calling the shots. You gotta follow and make sure that you do your job, right? But you are also a leader. You're developing leadership skills because you might be a section leader, you might be a concertmaster, or the conductor it's themselves. So that really also develops now teamwork and ability to work together, and ability to work in a team that is collaborative. And imagine when you take all of these skills that really, you look at the skill development, it has nothing to do with music, but it has everything to do with success in life. Because who doesn't want to hire, even you with your company, why would you not hire someone who has such developed skill set, who is patient, determined, great team player? Discipline. Not to mention when you perform on the stage. So now we're going from individual to playing in an orchestra, now to performance. When you perform on the stage, what happens to your self-esteem? It goes up. You feel better about yourself. People clap, right? You see that you did something well and you are getting rewarded. People like it. Your family likes it. And it makes you feel good about yourself. When kids feel good about themselves, they do better in school. They have better behavior and they develop faster. So really, music, it's like, if I could call it a magic field, it's a magic field.
No, and also you have to work as a team when you are a
Exactly.
member of an ensemble or orchestra. you have to watch for each other, And
You're responsible for one another.
yeah,
You really are. Yeah.
yeah.
And that also makes you feel care for other people. Not to mention that you peer mentor in an orchestra. When you're sitting next to your buddy in orchestra, you help each other, you mentor each other. That also develops leadership skills.
Being so close with the students in the Miami Music Project, when I ask them and they tell me their story, how many years they've been in the Miami Music Project, and they graduate, and they see Miami Music Project as a big family.
Yes.
So getting into that, how you develop that inside Miami Music Project, that family mission, also, the friendship, and how do you develop that in Miami Music Project? How do you do? What is the technique that you use?
We pay a lot of attention to the culture inside the organization. We used to be very small. When I started, I was a volunteer. Then I always loved there was 1.5 of us because it was me and a part-time person, right? We are now a team, including the teachers, of over 130 people. If you don't deliberately look at culture and deliberately develop the culture together, things most likely are not going to be cohesive and come together like that, right? So, at some point, we took time to develop our core values. We take time to really make sure that the team understands what the mission is of the organization, why we are here together. Not just individually how you care and you feel about our mission, because that's very important, right? You have your own individual take on why you are involved with my music project. But at the same time, we also have to remember that the culture and the vision and the mission of the organization has to be cohesive. And we all have to speak that one language. And we try to take those core values and apply them to the classroom, to the students. So we teach our teaching artists, who are our faculty, also about those core values and about how to work with the students. We do a lot of training with the teaching artists to make sure that they have the culture of uplifting the student. I actually don't know if you know this, Ariel, as our chairman, but our org chart, our own organizational chart, is actually upside down. The students are on the top, and the board is on the bottom.
All right. Can you explain me a little bit more about it?
So, typically when you look at any org chart of any company, right, you're always going to have the people that are in
You
power.
have the pyramid is gone.
Pyramid or this way, but the people in power are going to be on top, right? So the CEO or the board of directors or whoever founder, it's going to be on the top. And then coming down on the chart, you're going to go down the ladder, right? So people who have maybe the least power in the company are going to be always on the bottom. So we took our org chart and we flipped it upside down. The students are on the top, and the board and me as CEO, we are on the bottom. And everything in between is our team. So it's me, it's the board, me, then there's the senior team, then there's the programming team, then there's the coordinators and everybody who is part-time, and the teachers, and then students are on top. We did that so visually our team can remember why we are here. We are here to serve the students. We are here for their success. We are here because we want them to succeed. That's the mission of the organization. So that's why we flip it, so we don't forget that. And then you take that from the student idea to the team. When I am on the bottom as CEO and everybody who reports to me is above me on the org chart, it keeps me in check to make sure that I'm here to support and uplift our team, not to tell them what to do from top down. So it's a down-up approach versus top-down approach.
One of the things that amazed me a lot in Miami Music Project, I call them the angels of the Miami Music Project, which is the teaching artists. As you know, I've been in the Sistema years ago, and I learned how it works, and that amazed me a lot. I said, the work these people do, I never seen it before anywhere else. How can you find that time of teaching actors? Where do you find them? how they have that spirit to transform the life of the kids.
That's such a great question.
Because they are not
Yeah.
only the teachers who teach you how to play the instrument.
Correct.
They are more than that. They go the extra mile. They are your mentor. They are your guide. They are your everything through 3 hours every day.
Yeah. You know, in the El Sistema philosophy, there is a model for teaching artists, which I think it's called a CAT model, which means that the teaching artist needs to be a citizen, an artist, a teacher, and a mentor as well to the students, right? Because remember, our program is not a music program alone.
That is
Our
good to
program
explain.
is a social development program. We are here to bring social change to the communities that we serve and the students we serve. We are not here to make them into musicians, right? So that's why the teachers cannot just be teachers of music. They have to go beyond that. Now you ask me, how do you find that? You know, sometimes you don't find that. Sometimes you hire teaching artists and you have to teach them that. It's not something that naturally will come with their formal education, because most of our teaching artists are professional musicians. They are trained to be incredible, high-level skilled performers on the stage.
And you do that in Miami Music Project.
Yes. But they are, you know, as performers on the stage, they actually never had formal education how to be educators, how to be mentors, because they train to be performers on the stage.
Exactly.
So that's why we do a lot of training. We have a special program called Teaching Artist Training Program, through which we help them develop a skill set in the classroom to be effective in group settings, in classroom, to understand maybe often the situations the students are coming from, even their trauma, the fact that they might be, you know, from sometimes difficult circumstances inside their own families. So we really have to be developing that compassion and that empathy to be able to relate to them. So, you know, sometimes we have teaching artists that come in and they just hit the ground running and they really, really are amazing. And sometimes they need to be given a little bit more of boost and training. And it's not that they don't know how to do it, is that they need to feel confident in the classroom. They sometimes might come in and feel a little bit maybe intimidated by what our classrooms are. So that's why we do a lot of training. And, you know, the teachers who stick with us become so incredibly effective in what they do and how they teach, because they are not just teachers, they are mentors and friends, and often a shoulder to cry on for our students.
It's like you say before, we are not only to teach kids how to play the instrument. We are a social program.
Yes. The instrument is the tool
Is the
to
tool.
bring this social change.
And the music is excuse. You know,
And the music is an excuse. It's for them to have fun, and they don't often even know all the things that are happening that are transforming them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a little secret.
A little bit, yeah. We trick them into it.
Yeah. When Miami Music Project was founded, and who did it, who founded it, and how many years ago?
Yeah, so Miami Music Project was founded originally back in 2008. So we have a few years, right, under our belt. Actually, the organization was founded by Maestro James Judd, who is a world-renowned conductor, a British-born conductor who resides in South Florida. And he, back in 2007-8, he had a chance to work with orchestra kids from public schools. And he noticed that there was so much talent in Miami, in the schools, so much talent. But the kids often did not have the most proper education on the instrument. And it really, you know, was not that they didn't have good education in school, it was that they didn't have enough of it. Because when you really, really get passionate about playing an instrument, you need to be able to have good instruction, to have it often, play with orchestras. And, you know, during the school day, that's difficult to do because the kids can only have one period of music and then they have to go to all the other subjects and all of that. So there were all these kids playing in this orchestra that he conducted that really wanted to do great, but they just did not have enough time during the school day to be able to develop strong skill set on the instrument. So he thought, can I help? Can I do something here to help with that? And would maybe a different approach be something that could stick? So he went to the Knight Foundation, and he was able to secure a very special grant at the very beginning in 2008, the Knight's Arts Challenge Grant, which provided a matching fund for the first 4 years of the organization. So that allowed to develop Miami Music Project, to get it off the ground. And because it was a matching grant, dollar for dollar, the board back then had to raise the money to get the money from the Knight Foundation, which also allowed the organization to bring on those original initial donors and supporters, right? Because basically your gift was doubling, which people saw as something very strong. And then I was already involved at that time as a volunteer. And then I was a part-time assistant in the office. And then when the CEO, the CEO who was the former CEO at the very beginning of the organization, when he left, I kind of applied for the job, and thank God got it. But it was really James Judd and his true care for children and their development in music that sparked the whole thing.
Back then, how many people were involved in Miami Music Project, and how many students did we have?
Well, back then, we didn't have the programs we have today. Okay. Back then, the very beginning, we were actually a group of professional musicians, and we provided performances to kids in schools. So we would go into schools, to assemblies. The kids would come to the auditorium, or cafetorium, as we call them in Miami. And the musicians would play to the kids. And it was super interactive and educational. We would have a string quartet come in and play Shakira and Michael Jackson.
Wow.
And then they would play Mozart and Bach, and through that connection, kids were like, oh, this is so cool. And they were learning about music. But what happened was very, very quick after that, when we had this program, the kids started asking us, where can I play trumpet? Where can I get a violin to play? Because they saw these cool musicians on the stage. They were like, I want to do this. I want to do it myself, So that was actually the time where I got involved as on a leadership role. And I started learning about El Sistema and the Venezuelan movement. And I was thinking, wait a minute, here we have kids who want to play instruments themselves. And here we have this incredible concept and philosophy. What if we put the two and two together and transform Miami Music Project into an El Sistema-inspired program?
We're going to get into that in the second half of our program. We'll go deep into the Miami Music Project, how it works, how we get the funds, how many people do we have right now, how much it costs, everything like that. But you know that, Anya, this podcast, ATAR 360 or ATAR 360, it wouldn't be possible without our sponsor, Churro Mania.
Churros de chocolate o azúcar no quiero. El de arequipe también lo deseo. El churro manía, rica manía de sabor de todos los días.
Qué sabroso compartir el sabor de Churro Manía, el sitio de encuentro para todas las edades. Somos los originales. Ofrecemos la mayor variedad de churros calientitos y deliciosos. Disfrútalos solo en
Churro Manía.
Okay, we're back with Anna Klimala in ATAR 360. Our podcast today, we're talking about Miami Music Project. And here we have our CEO and president of Miami Music Project, Anna Klimala. Anya, can we go deep into the Miami Music Project? Where do we get the funds to make this happen? How you made the connection? You say before that then you found the El Sistema in Venezuela, and you inspire Miami Music Project because of that. How do you make that link and how it works?
Yeah, so I started learning about El Sistema from musicians who actually went to Venezuela to see it. And they would come and tell me and show me videos. And, we cried over all these videos because it was so incredibly deep and emotional to see, tens and tens of kids playing with all this passion. So I decided that I'm going to propose to the board to change what we do and to develop an Sistema-inspired program, because the kids wanted instruments, they wanted to learn. And I thought, instead of touching kids with music, which really provides kind of like an aha moment, I love this, what if we go much deeper and give the instrument in their hands? So instead of going wide, we go deep, right? So I proposed that to the board. I explained how it would work. And I think there was really not even a split second of thinking, should we do this or not? It just felt so natural, because the El Sistema philosophy is all about giving students the experience of playing an instrument, learning an instrument, of being in an ensemble, but really with the entire focus on the development of the person and their skill set, right? So we knew that if we do this, the kids will not just play, they will also, their behavior is going to improve, their academics are going to improve, their outlook into the future life for them is going to be improving. And they will basically see themselves as more confident individuals and member society. So it really was a no-brainer to kind of switch what we do and to go there.
So you will say that this is the big difference on Miami Music Project with maybe other music programs?
Yeah, there is people often ask me, what is the difference between like a youth orchestra, a regular youth orchestra, and an El Sistema-inspired program and Miami Music Project? And first of all is the intensity, because our students don't come once a week for a rehearsal.
Yeah.
They come every single day, and we teach them for 3 to 4 hours. So think about the number of hours. So one student in 1 year receives from us over 575 hours per student on average. If you can deliver that intensity to a child in music, they will develop the skills that I'm talking about 100% and fast, because they do it every day, because they experience it every day, because they reinforce it every day. That's where the entire secret sauce is in that. So the intensity is the most important. Number 2 is the social development, is the outlook of seeing the program not just as come to play and go home, but really understanding the students, their backgrounds, their family dynamics, getting the parents involved. Every single day in 7 of our locations, we have parents volunteering. Every single day, we have hundreds of volunteers.
So they get involved. It's just like
they get involved, and they don't get involved only because they feel grateful, but we also get them involved because their involvement is part of the entire secret sauce and the mission. So there's the intensity, there is the community parental involvement, and then there's also the quality of teaching. The reason why we hire professional musicians who are high skilled performers on their instrument is because they deliver that high quality and that professionalism, they give it to the kids. So that is also a very, very important element. And we have a team of people beyond the teachers who really take care of the child and the family. So it goes really way beyond just come and play music and go home. We know the families, we know their struggles, we know what they might be experiencing. We try to help them with all sorts of different things, connect them to social services in the community if it's needed, help with transportation, things like that. So when the kids say that it feels like family, this is why.
Do we give transportation to the kids?
Yes. So in many of instances, we also transport the kids because, as you know, Miami-Dade County is a large area geographically. And family might often have one car and the parents have to go to work and they don't have a way to get to us. So we also provide bus transportation. We have 3 bus routes going daily between our different sites. And when we have concerts, performances, events, not only we bus the students, we also have a parent bus when we bus the parents in case they cannot get to us.
Wow, it's a big organization that we have.
Yeah.
Years ago, when I met Maestro José Antonio Abreu, he told me, Ariel, listen, they play good music, but not because we want them to be the best performers, but it's because they do it every day for 4 hours.
Exactly.
That is the only reason. I mean, they practice
Yeah.
and they practice
Yeah.
and they practice. And that's what we do in Miami Music
Yeah.
Project.
Imagine, pick anything that you want to learn, and imagine if you do it 3 to 4 hours a day versus 2 hours a week.
Oh, big difference. Big
Of
difference.
course, right there, that's it.
And not only that, also they have concert. They have to perform during the weekends, maybe.
Yes, they practice also during the weekend.
How many concerts do we have?
We do 30 plus performances every
30
year.
plus.
Yeah. And they are all sorts of types of performances, from those in the schools, in those auditoriums and cafeteriums, because we want the community, the parents, the family members to be there, to big stages, to New World Center, to Arts Center, to Gassman, to, FIU, Wareheim Performing Center. We put the kids on little and big stages and everything in between.
Now, what is the business plan when developing Miami Music Project? I know that we have chapters. Can you explain about that?
Yeah,
How do we insert where we go?
sure.
Can you explain a little bit?
So right now, currently, we have 7 sites, which we call them chapters. They're based in a community. And we go from up north, Miami Gardens. We have a chapter in Liberty City, in Little Haiti, Miami Springs, Little Havana, Miami Beach, and now our newest one is in Homestead, Florida.
Yeah.
So we are community based. We work with the school district as one of our largest partner, the school district. So we are based in schools after school, but the programs are open to community. They're not only for the children from that particular school. So in every location, you will have kids from that school, and you will have kids from surrounding schools coming to our program, because we are community based.
Now, question: it can be any kid from any social.
Actually, yes. It
Yes.
can be any kid from any background. We do focus on most under-resourced communities in Miami, and those that I mentioned, that's where you see the largest social economic challenges. So by default, because we focus on those communities, most of the kids are from those communities.
Exactly.
But we don't put up any barriers of being part of the program.
And the kids, they have to pay for that, or it's for free?
Everything is completely free. So they not only get the instrument free and all the hours and hours of instruction, but also, the performances, the busing, food, often, because we also have to feed them. Everything is completely free of charge. In fact, sometimes parents literally don't believe us when we say that. They think there's some kind of a trick, like, where is the fine
Yeah,
print?
where's the kid?
Where's the fine print? Like, when are you going to tell me how much
You're gonna-
thousands of dollars this is going to cost me,
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, I mean, take the number of 575 hours a year and multiply even by $50 an hour, which is a lesson on an instrument, which is actually, I don't know if anyone charges $50 anymore. I mean, at this point, you have to pay like $100, for 1 hour to learn how to play an instrument.
Wow.
Imagine
It's a lot of money.
how much value these kids are receiving.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
And not only that, they do it through the years. I mean, one of the kids can be there, for 15 years maybe, or 10 years?
So it's 12.
average?
You can be for 12 years, because we start with first grade. We have 5 levels of advancement for the program, and you can be with us through 12th grade. So elementary, middle, high school.
And what happened when they graduate 12 years later? What happened with them?
They all go to higher education, actually. So we have 100% high school graduation rate so far, in comparison to, I think, 97% of the county. And 100% of our students so far have pursued higher education.
And they get any scholarship or?
Yes, so a lot of them get scholarships to whatever it is that they want to study. In fact, most of our students don't choose music as their careers, which is actually exactly our mission, because
Exactly.
we are not here to produce musicians. We are here to help them propel to be whoever they want to be. So we have students studying computer engineering and science and biology and the law, and accounting and everything in between. And also music education, music production, composition, so that exists as well. But over the years, I think more or less 30% of students actually pursue anything in music and 70% pursue all the other careers, which is absolutely incredible.
Well, there is one of the students, Concertino, and she goes to Columbia University, and she wants to go for biology.
Yes.
And also minor in economics. And full right.
Yeah.
Being the concertino, which is very good performance in the violin.
Yeah, so that means she's a concertmaster in orchestra, so she was high level. And she's pursuing.
But most of them want to be an accountant, doctors. It's an amazing. Every time I see that, I cry of happiness.
Yeah.
Tears go through my face. And now, Miami Music Project needs resources to make this happen,
Yes.
How do we get these resources? From where?
Yeah, so, we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization based in state of Florida. And just like all the nonprofits, we constantly raise money to be able to do what we do. About 68% of our funding comes from competitive grant writing, meaning we write grants to foundations, we compete, we get scored, and we get funded. That also includes that 67% also includes any kind of public government sources. So we also get funding from the Children's Trust, from the Department of Cultural Affairs in Miami, from the state of Florida, although that funding is shaky at the moment for a lot of reasons. And then about 25% of our income comes from individuals, from people like you, Ariel, from a lot of people who just really stand by our mission, who believe in what we do, who see the transformation of the students and want to give us their own money so we can do what we do. And our job is to be very good stewards of those funds that are bestowed to us to have. And we do our best, making sure that 87% of every dollar given goes directly into the programming, directly into what we do, not into overhead or anything like that, which obviously is very important, because if there's no administration, people running organization, the organization will not run well. So that is important, but we are very lean with our funding, and we make sure that 87 cents out of each dollar goes toward programming.
Now, funding is not an easy task.
No.
So
Why do you think I have gray hair?
Well, I have some. What can we do to raise more money from Miami Music Project?
To the listeners who are listening to us today, if you resonate with what we are talking about, if you resonate with this kind of organization and the mission of it and the incredible transformation the students are going through, consider giving something. If you are not used to giving, or you are new to charitable giving, it really doesn't have to be a lot. It could be that symbolic Starbucks, that you will not have today. It can be $5 a month, $100 a month. It really doesn't have to be a lot. But just that spark of giving and knowing that you're making a difference, it will really make you feel very good. And then seeing what the students do and how they succeed, it's going to be something that you will feel very good about. Fundraising is not easy. It's something that all nonprofits struggle with day in and day out. Our budget this year is over $3.8 million. Our program is not small. We are a large operation. We put a lot of money into the teaching, into the program staff, making sure that kids are really well serviced and kept safe. So it's not a little something, That's why we need a lot of people to know about us, to spread the word. Even if you are not in a position to give today, spread the word. Go on social media, because I know you are on social media, and tell people, look at this organization. I love what they do. I think it's so worth
Well,
it.
being an ambassador
Being an ambassador,
is
exactly.
is a way
Being
to
an
collaborate,
ambassador, yeah,
to spread
yeah,
the word, like you said.
exactly.
Um, which that take me to, do we have any performance that you might recall about some of our students performing with a great conductor?
Yes, I mean, obviously beyond those where our students had a chance to work with Maestro James Judd, our founder, which always is an incredible experience for them. Every time you can come and work with them is just an honor. But we also had students performing with Gustavo Dudamel in Los Angeles, which was incredible. We had students work with Michael Tilson Thomas, who is, one of the top conductors in the world. Also, Stefan Deneuve worked with our students in the past. He was the conductor of the Philadelphia Orchestra back then, and now he's actually the artistic director of the New York Symphony in Miami. So over the years, we've had really incredible people come and work with the students and want to inspire them and want to give them a little bit of their knowledge as well.
Wow, that's a big, big step,
Yeah.
Being a student and be so close to the male and be conducted by him. I mean, you may feel very proud.
Yeah, well, beyond the fact that the kids first freak out because being in front of him is first very scary, although he's not scary at all. It's just that because of the name.
Yeah, but he's very friendly.
Right. Oh, he is. Yeah. But, first they're always like, my goodness, this is not happening. I think it's almost like a metaphysical experience for them. But once they start working with them, he's so embracing and loving and encouraging of the students, And I've gone to see the orchestra when our kids were in it and he was conducting, and you don't forget the way it sounds, the way their faces light up when they're on that stage. It's just unbelievable and unforgettable.
When I asked Dudamel once, you were with me that time, about that concert in Tanglewood, where we went, and I say the kids they were playing by memory. They knew everything. They didn't read. I say, well, the reason is because they are so mature for their age. They have learned so much through practicing through the years. But also it's because the Sistema. El Sistema, it was make all these students to be very good players, very good musicians. And that happened with Miami Music Project. I will say it's the same thing. I feel very proud that being the chairman of the Miami Music Project, I didn't say that before the beginning of the podcast, but I am.
Little details.
But how many students do we have in Miami Music Project actually?
So daily we serve over 750 students in 7 locations. In total, from the very beginning, my music project has served over 33,000 students so far.
Through the years.
Through the years, yeah.
And right now we have 7 chapters. We want to have more chapters.
Yes.
Which one is the business plan for the future? For
business plan
the next
is-
5 years of Miami Music Project?
I don't know if it's 5 years because the pandemic changed quite a bit. But our goal, our strategic plan, business plan has been to have 12 chapters across Miami-Dade County, with the idea that if we cover 12 communities and 12 of those that are the most under-resourced in Miami-Dade County, we will really give a chance to every under-resourced child to be part of this program. So that's kind of the big picture. We are 7 now, which is already a lot, considering how we do things in our model. We are now also working with the group called Arts Access Miami, which is an alliance of different music education programs where we kind of blanket one neighborhood with a lot of services, making sure that every school has something. It's arts education. So we also now work together with them, which might help us grow faster in the future. But Yeah, the business plan is to grow up to 12.
So if we have 12, how many students are we going to have regularly, the
Yeah, so
average?
that's we are hoping that that would give us anywhere between 1,800 to 2,000 students daily.
Okay. Now, for that, the budget is going to grow.
It's gonna balloon.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we need more people to get engaged.
Yes.
To
And also we have a lot of opportunities, for those people out there who are inside the charitable giving and like to do sponsorships. We have a lot of different opportunities of sponsorships, right? We could have a chapter named after a company or chapter named after somebody who is going to decide to be very generous. We could underwrite ensembles and students and different programs, So there's a lot of opportunities within Miami Music Project to also get you involved, but your company or maybe a company of someone that you know, with sponsorships, with, helping us even put those concerts on stages or just sponsoring scholarships. It costs us about $5,000 to educate one child in my music project. And we do have people who sponsor scholarships who say, I'm going to pay for 5 this year. So that's $25,000. Or I'm going to pay for 10 or 1, whatever it is. That is also an opportunity.
so it's 5,000 a year
per child,
for a
on
child.
average.
On
Mhm.
average. Okay. Corporations. Because there are people that they don't know. There are people that they donate because they don't even know what they're doing. They just send a check, but they are not involved emotionally, I would say, with the program. And I think that is a good factor for the people to.
Yeah, corporate support for us has grown slowly. We are not a typical flashy nonprofit that is very attractive to corporate, I would say, right? Because, for example, if you're a car company, I don't have a lobby where you can bring your car and showcase it.
Exactly.
Things like that. However, the corporations that we have gotten involved slowly that are coming on board, they are coming on board because they deeply, deeply understand what we do and the difference it makes. We have a bank, for example, that sponsors us. People from that office come to our concerts almost every single time. They love coming and seeing the kids. They get actually emotionally engaged, And last year we brought on a new sponsor, Levi's, which we were super excited about. And I cannot probably publicly mention this yet, but they are coming with even more support this year, which we're super proud of that too. But they're coming on board because they understood what we do. They took time to really understand, to come visit, to see the schools, to see the students in the classroom and actually understand what the program is. That is not just some orchestra playing, but it is a very deep social development program that cares about the community, and the members of that community are their customers.
Yeah.
So they care about them too.
Yeah, that is a good way to see it. And I think I encourage everybody who wants to be part of the Miami Music Project to go and do that tour, I will say.
Yes.
And
give us a call, come visit. We'll take you to the schools. We'll show you how we do it. That's why we are here.
Yeah. And which one would you say is the best concert of the year for Miami Music Project?
I think it depends how you define the best, because everybody likes something different. But we do have a large annual concert in December at the New World Center, which is a beautiful place, beautiful stage on Miami Beach. So that definitely is a great concert to go to. If you are not a big fan of concert halls and being inside, then we also have an amazing concert called UnClassical at the Miami Beach Band Shell. On Collins Avenue. And that's where, you're going to hear Miami sounds, Miami rhythms, Latin music, Haitian music, but played by an orchestra. But we call it unclassical because we don't actually play classical music in that concert.
Exactly.
We have a big show at FIU. We have a spring show at UM. We really have a lot. And if you want to know about all these concerts, please follow us on social media. sign up for our newsletter on our website, miamimusicproject.org, where you can see everything that is coming up. And just come and check it out. No, I'm not going to ask you for money when you show up first time. I promise I will not do that. Just come and check it out, see for yourself, judge for yourself, see what we do. I guarantee you that you're going to be intrigued, and you're going to want to know more. And then we are there to tell you more if you want, and show you what we do and take you to our sites. We have a team that just loves doing that, and the kids love when people come visit.
There is something called the El Sistema USA. Can you explain more?
Yeah, so El Sistema USA, it's a national advocacy group. It's a nonprofit which basically supports all the El Sistema inspired programs around the country. And currently we are over 120 programs in the country. Miami Music Project is one of the oldest, one of the largest, and we were also the founding member of the Sistema USA. We basically get together to support all the different programs. There's a lot of startups. There's a lot of very small organizations who are getting off the ground. So we, through the El Sistema USA network, we try to make sure that they are supported, that we can help them with some of the things that we've been through when we were much smaller. And it's basically a coalition of like-minded organizations and programs in support of the whole mission of social change through music.
So there are many other cities that they want to have like a Miami Music Project in town, and to help each other,
Yes.
Yeah, that's very good. That's very good. El Sistema, that mission or that vision that had Maestro Antonio Abreu when he founded El Sistema in Venezuela 50 years ago, he said it's not only for Venezuela, it has to be worldwide.
And now it is.
And now it is worldwide. Yeah. So thanks to this guy.
Yeah. And I say, for those who wonder, I eat churros, and the Churromania churros are the best. And I'm not just saying that because my chairman is sitting here. They really, we have so many fans in our office. It's just, if you want a nice sweet treat, go to Churromania store and you will definitely get what you are seeking. Thank you, Ariel, for inviting me, for having me here. I love talking to you. And thank you for everything that you do for my music project and for our students. You really, really make a difference, and I hope it makes you feel proud. And I hope that you will keep doing that for many years to come.
Well, I do it because I love it. I do it because I know it. I do it because I really believe in what we're doing in Miami Music Project. I really do.
And it shows.
So that commitment goes that way because I really enjoy what we're doing in Miami Music Project. I know the program, and we keep on going to make it even better every day. Thank you, Anna Klimala, CEO and President of Miami Music Project. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. And remember, you have to follow, look here, down below, so you can follow our podcast, Atar 360, Atar 360 in English. So I see you guys later in the next podcast. Bye-bye. And but you have to say something to this, that this won't be possible without our sponsor, Churro Mania. Bye-bye.
Churros de chocolate o azúcar no quiero. El de arequipe también lo deseo. El churro manía, rica manía de sabor de todos los días.
Qué sabroso compartir el sabor de Churro Manía, el sitio de encuentro para todas las edades. Somos los originales. Ofrecemos la mayor variedad de churros calientitos y deliciosos. Disfrútalos solo en
Churro Manía.